What up, Internet? It's Tuesday morning. So, doing a little voiceover work here on the stuff that I shot yesterday, Monday the 28th. Today is Tuesday the 29th. Not sure if this is going to be the last video before the new year, so just in case, I'm going to go ahead and tell everyone to have a happy and safe new year. Don't get too crazy and jump off a bridge if everyone else is jumping off a bridge. Unless they survive and it looks like fun. Go ahead and do that. Lord knows I've done plenty of that kind of stuff for sure. Just shooting a little shrimp feeding video from the left-hand side of the 240 tank, because that probably is one of my favorite pastime things to do, is to shoot shrimp time-lapse feeding. Here's the sump on the 180. I'm starting to get some work done on it and starting to get it organized. And I'll do a full overview once I have all the equipment in it. Currently, I'm just running a heater and a return pump. As you can see, I'm starting to section out areas with some of the light diffusing material, that egg crate, which it was really useful stuff. Comes in really handy, but bear in mind it's not the cheapest thing in the world. I think a sheet of it is like $15, and that's only 2 feet by 4 feet. So you can easily make some errant cuts in it, and there's really no going back once it's cut. I'm putting in the shrimp feeding video sectionally so people don't lose their minds just looking at the particularly boring type of work I was doing yesterday. More often than not, days like that when I'm doing stuff that I don't find to be very exciting, I don't shoot. But moving into moving into more of a further stage of what I'm doing with this channel, I'm trying to shoot just about everything that I do, because content drives everything. Well, as you can see here, I have a bunch of stuff on the floor from moving tanks and breaking things down. Generally speaking, I use these Rubbermaid bins for almost everything that I store, whether it's fish tank related or not. They come in super handy, and they typically go on sale once a year, or twice a year, or 5 times a year, or they're just permanently on sale. But those Rubbermaid totes come in fantastically handy because water doesn't mess them up. They will stain if you put some things in them. But typically they hold up really well to storing things. So I have quite a few of those, and like I said, I'll buy a few up here and there whenever they go on sale, and try and keep the clean ones clean and the dirty ones dirty. But all those rocks and everything that I have, all the kind of supplemental stuff, I'll go ahead and throw that into storage bins and stick those outside. I just find it's the best place to store rocks is outside. They don't really have a tendency to get messed with. Moving around those heavy totes in my shop is sort of a waste of time, unless I guess I want to work out, but I'll just grab my weights if I want to work out. The Dragonstone, of course, is not going to go outside. I do not want that to magically grow legs in the middle of the night because someone thinks that's a really cool looking rock, and they don't realize that it is actually an expensive rock. So I've got those stored in the shop, mainly just, like I said, I just want to keep an eye on them. And I'm pretty sure those are going to be going into a 20 long, is what I'm going to most likely be doing with the Dragonstones. I think I'm going to be doing a small scape with those. And then, of course, yesterday I was sitting around kind of thinking about what I wanted to do in the fish shop while I worked on this, putting stuff away. There's really nothing else going on, so figuring out what I'm going to be doing. So I think I've got the layout now of the aquaponics, which as I make those tanks and make those as I assemble that whole system. Of course, I'll be shooting that and talking about the aquaponics and some of the stuff that I'll be doing there. As far as fish goes, I know some people have asked questions about what fish I'm going to be doing in my aquaponics. I have not made up my mind yet. I've not made up my mind if I want to do edible fish or decorative fish. You know, there are a lot of decorative type fish that are more suitable for the aquarium hobby. That would be great to do in the aquaponics. I don't know if I want to get back into beta breeding and doing a lot of betas or, you know, neons or anything like that. Financially speaking, that wasn't it certainly wasn't a reward for the work done. And you know, a sad fact of the matter is that living in America is pretty expensive. So some of that stuff is cost prohibitive as far as being in competition with other countries where it's much cheaper in order to produce those types of things. You know, most of the beta production that goes on is in, Vietnam, Thailand, those really warm countries where they have access to spring water and they don't need to heat anything. And generally speaking, I don't know what the rent is like in Thailand, but I imagine from what most of those farms that I have seen and video that I have seen, I've not been there in person, that most of that land is inherited and they're not paying a insane amount. But who knows? Maybe it's insane for those guys. I'm not judging. I'm just saying from my position here, it's kind of cost prohibitive and end up spending too much money and trying to sell, $12 to $15 to $30 betas to make it just so I can break even and pay my rent. So that leads to am I going to be doing edible fish? Well, most of the edible fish, if we're going to talk about selling them, it's pretty cost prohibitive to do anything that's worth selling. Tilapia is a very cheap fish. And if I was to be growing them, it'd be for eating. And I'm not really sure what the offset would end up being cost-wise with versus the food that I eat now. Would kind of be the would kind of be the issue there. Is that is that going to lower my grocery bill to a point where it makes it worthwhile? Because I do know with the actually growing of the vegetables and all that kind of stuff, that will lower my grocery bill and also give me kind of peace of mind of where this food's coming from, who's putting the time into it, who's putting the energy into it. Well, me, and I want to get that back from it. It's obviously a much healthier way to be living if you know where your food's coming from and what you're doing. I'm still going to have issues with rice and international kind of things that I tend to eat in my diet. So slowly but surely, we're going to start figuring out some of that system and actually putting the economical side of it to work and start figuring out where things are going to go and how things are going to go once they are rolling. Luckily, I have a lot of experience of figuring out water bills, electric bills, sorting all those kinds of things out. It's essentially pretty simple math. It's like, how much is your heater running? How many watts does it use? You can figure out how many kilowatt hours it is and then break it down over the 2-month bill. Every electric bill that you get is itemized and will tell you how much it is. And going through all that stuff is not the funnest thing in the world, but it is really interesting to start figuring out exactly where your money's going and what you're doing with it. As you can see in the video here, what I'm working on is breaking down all this Java fern that I have in a bin. A lot of times people have asked me, like, what do you do with all your extra plants and whatnot? Sometimes this is what happens. I'll end up filling a tote or a bucket or something like that with water, and hold those plants just in the water. It's going to take a couple of minutes to segregate some of the dye off. But bear in mind, it's been ranging between 32 and 45 degrees on the floor in my shop. It's been kind of cold so far here in Seattle, so it has been fairly cold in the shop there, and guess what? Almost everything survived except for a couple of leaves that were probably on the edge of needing to be trimmed off anyhow. So that water's much colder than you'd expect, and the survival rate's much higher than you would expect. I've done this time and time again. It's the easiest way just to hold on to all those extra plants is just put them in some water and set them aside and let them just hang out in the bucket. And I've done that with a lot less hardier plants. There was even some Subwassertang and a few other plants in that tote, and they'll bounce back once I move them into a tank. This all this Java fern and all this stuff here that I was separating out, basically that's all going down into the sump on the 180. So I'm gonna hold that down below there, help little uptake some of the extra nutrients and stuff like that, and of course keep the Java alive and thriving. As soon as I get a better light to run the sump system there, which I already have. I just need to install it. I'd like to give a shout out to all the new subscribers. We passed 3,500 subscribers, which is a milestone. I'm not sure. I think it's a milestone. Whether or not it's a milestone, I guess. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So shout out to all the new subscribers. Shout out to all the old subscribers. Go ahead and throw me some questions in the comments. I got more videos coming up, of course, as always. I'm not dropping off the map yet. I don't have my mountain property to go live in just yet. But rate, comment, subscribe. Oh yeah, if you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button. All right, we're coming down. Look at that. He managed to empty the tote and left a swirling swamp water in the video. Fantastic. All right, guys, everyone have a lovely Tuesday out there. All right, later.